Today we are sharing a story that rarely makes to the headlines, but quietly shapes American politics, US foreign policy, and Muslim identity. It's the story of Pakistani American, not as a monolith, not as a stereotype, but as a community that moved from near total invisibility to political awakening and to still unfinished struggle for power. Pakistan's American story begins right after 1947. The first arrivals weren't refugees or mass migrants. They were students, doctors, engineers, diplomats. They came on temporary visas, most didn't plan to stay, and almost none imagined themselves as political actors in America. For decades, Pakistani Americans lived quietly. They focused on education, survival, stability. Politics was distant and scary, and activism almost non existent. Then everything changed in 1965. A single law, the Hart-Celler Immigration Act, ends race-based quotas and opens America's doors to skilled immigrants from South Asia. Suddenly, Pakistani professionals arrive in large numbers. Families reunite. Mosques, student associations, and community groups begin to form. A diaspora is born, but still not a political one. The unspoken rule was simple: work hard, stay invisible, and don't rock the boat. Then comes September 11, 2001, and invisibility turns into surveillance. Pakistani Americans, alongside other Muslims, face FBI interviews, visa crackdowns, detentions, mosque surveillance, and public suspicion. Suddenly, being quiet is no longer protection. This is the moment political consciousness is forced into existence. Civil rights advocacy rises, not as theory, but as survival. Organizations like CAIR and MPAC become lifelines. Legal defense, media advocacy, and anti-profiling campaigns aren't optional anymore, they're urgent. For many Pakistani Americans, this is the first time America feels personal and political. Over time, advocacy expands. It's no longer just about defending against Islamophobia, it's about shaping policy. Pakistani Americans begin organizing around immigration and visa justice, Muslim ban, student and worker protection, US-Pakistan foreign policy, drone warfare and civilian casualties, and humanitarian crises. But this advocacy is complicated. Communities divided by class, sect, politics back home, and fear of visibility. And often, influence lags behind numbers. Then comes a generational shift. Gen Z and millennials want to make some noise. They organize openly. They criticize US foreign policy. They speak up for blacks, for Palestinians, for climate movement, and they run for office. They don't ask to be included quietly. They demand to be counted loudly. Figures like Zohran Mamdani reflect this evolution. Muslim, political, progressive, and unapologetic. This isn't just representation, it's a redefinition of power. The Pakistani American story is a journey from quiet migration to political awakening, now facing the unfinished challenge of turning visibility and activism into real power. So, can Pakistani Americans turn their presence into policy, their identity into influence, and their activism into lasting political power? Well, that remains to be seen. But one thing's for sure, this is not just a Pakistani American story, it's an American one. I'm Mahin Mustafa, and you're watching The American Side. Until next time.